Hey, Barbados, the march is on. The march is on. Tomorrow is a great day in Barbados because Bajans are standing up. The march is on. I can see you as soon as I came on. People are on and they're ready to go. Hi, Kemar. Oh, you said present. Good evening. You are present. And that's how people are going to be tomorrow on the street. Be present. The march is on, guys. It's on. It's on. It's on. It's on tomorrow at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. This march is on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Right there at Massey Car Park, right there in front of Kensington Oval. The march is on. You know, there's a scripture. You know, I like my little scriptures to share little scriptures with you. You know, hi Steve from the UK. I know you're watching me. Listen, guys, in Ephesians 6, and I believe it's verse 10, it says that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but it's against principalities and powers and the rulers of this dark age. And in Barbados, there is a set of people that for some reason they want to keep wool over our eyes. They want to keep us in a daze. They want to keep us in a daze. And so something like this that is happening, they are totally against it. And for someone to start to spread a propaganda, because they know it's social media and how it's going to run like fire on social media. So they started in the evening to say the march is off, and people are messaging why you could stop the march, but the march is on. The march is on. Let me just reach for the permits and show you that the march is on. We got the permits today, so I'm just reaching back here. I packed my bag so that tomorrow morning I'll have my permits. The police will be there and making sure I have my permits, and they gave us in a nice big envelope. And these are our permits, and we want to show the principalities, and we want to show this to the powers, principalities and to the powers. Look. This is it. I have it upside down. Listen, this is the permit, the Barbados Police Service. This is a permit for the march tomorrow. The march is on, people. And your donations to pay for the permit, and our truck is booked, and the sound system is booked, and we are ready. We are ready. On tonight in Austin, share this live like crazy tonight. Fight back all of these lackeys and these political yard fowls that's working for them on social media. We come against that. We come against that tonight, the principalities and powers, because we want to let them know that Barbados is alive. Barbados is waking up. Barbados is standing strong as a mighty army. Bones are coming together. Bones upon bones are coming together from all the 11 parishes, from St. Lucie to St. Philip, out in the middle right there in Christchurch, all over St. John, St. James. Bones are coming together, and there's nothing that they can do to stop it, because I'm telling them, if it's just myself, Caswell, and Lynette, and all the diehards and Winston behind a truck, we're going to be behind that truck. We're going to be behind that truck tomorrow at Massey Car Park. So you tell the principalities and you tell the powers. Go ahead and tell the principalities, tell the powers. The march is on. Can you all hear me? Making sure you can hear me. It seems like there's a delay. I'm in a different location. Yes, you can hear me. That's on this live right now. You stop and share. You're fighting for your lifeline. You're fighting for your lifeline. Share this live right now. Share this live and let the principalities and let the powers that have been dominating this country for the last 5 years, let them know that you're going to shake off this monkey off your back. Let them know the monkey coming off your back. The monkey is off of your back. Bones are coming together. The valley of dry bones. Barbados is standing up as a strong and mighty army from St. Lucie to St. Philip The people are standing up, and there's no amount of propaganda that is going to stop it. There's no amount that's going to stop this. There's no amount of victimization that is going to stop this. Because let me tell you, we have a history of cancer, and we must fight it inside of here. Huh? Even my Wi-Fi trying to fight me tonight, but we standing strong. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, and listen, tomorrow is all about the march. Tomorrow is all about the march. Yeah, and we are going to be there tomorrow, right? Oh, we are going to be there tomorrow. Let me just add Mr. Franklin in, because he's been working very hard. Don't know how much time he can stay with us tonight, because we want him strong tomorrow, you know. We want him strong tomorrow, talking on that truck and be with us. He's a general. Let me welcome the general. General Franklin, welcome.
I feel like a corporal now, though. I'm very tired. Lance Corporal too. Thank you very much. Even though I am tired of this, I have to come on tonight because I saw something today that really troubled me. It shows that this government is afraid of the people. Why would they get their minions to broadcast to the public that the march is off? It in their march. Why should they be making announcements? The march will come from me, they come from you, and they come from Winston. So why the hell would they come from Lynette? So why would they come up there with this thing? Why? They're running scared. They don't want the people in this country to see that they've lost popularity and that the people are not 100% behind them as they think. So they're going to create that scenario. They will tell you, oh, you see, the band nobody the march because the people supported us. People will only support them if they're stupid, not when they're going to take away your lifeline. They take away everything else. They take away gas money. They do everything else. They take away the money for water, do everything. But could there? They take away know what will depend on if you get sick and if you're dying and you're getting old. This is the money that you're going to rely on, you know. When you can't work for yourself anymore. And to rob the poor, Robin Hood used to rob the rich and give to the poor. This government is robbing the poor and giving to the rich. Today, I went to a meeting in the Ministry of Health. I was quite happy with the outcome of the meeting. We had a very good, fruitful discussion with the permanent secretary. And when I came outside, to my horror, someone approached me and asked, why we're not marching tomorrow. She wanted to come to the march. And why we cancel it? I said the march is not canceled. But she said, but everybody's in her office, the people are talking about it. People wanted to come to the march, but no, they said they heard that it is canceled. So I go back and tell them that it ain't canceled. We very much on the road tomorrow. I think I'll walk by myself. You know, this is utter madness. The wicked, you know, that's wicked, the evil. You know, they can look. You see why yesterday why I kept the time for the press conference close to my vest, because if we had given it a 2 days or so announcement, they would have had a press conference too. You know, that I got caught like that already. It happened again. The night I was the program, I sent the message. I had it typed up with it, and then when I said, well, good now they can't call a press conference this time, I sent ours. That is why we had everybody there. Well, everybody minus CBC, because we don't really, CBC doesn't really publicize things that are non-government. They will talk about Ukraine and something else. They ain't talking about this, you know, because I understand their problem. They would love to be journalists and do the news, but they still want to eat, and they know how vicious these people are. So they comply. But I don't care how vicious they are. They have gone too far. You see, you know the old people say, if they give a fella an inch, he's taking an L. You take an inch, you take a mile. These people have taken their mile. They've gone too far. They just decided, look, you know, we can do anything. Beijing's taking it. Beijing's going to start taking it now, you know, because let me tell you something. If you take this one,
your Wi-Fi is it my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi? But we're breaking up. Are you hearing us clearly? You're hearing us clearly tonight.
no,
The war is on, but we stop.
You have an echo.
Oh, I have an echo.
Yeah, and it sounds metallic. You know,
And static as well.
you know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist myself, but I think there might be trouble in your system. You know, they might be intervening because they don't want the message out. The march is on. Okay, people, let us gather tomorrow and let the government know that they've gone too far. You're taking a lot. You can't take this one. This one is your lifeline. They can't take away a lifeline from you. I better take away a lifeline from you, you're going to drown. And you could be drowning in this government's incompetence. And I dare say, largesse for their friends. Have I got nothing for you? All this government wants from you is a vote. Every time they call elections, because they're 75 years, all they want is a vote. And when they get that vote, they don't care two hoots. They don't care. So let me tell you now. Tomorrow we will gather at Kensington. We are not changing our minds in the last minute or anything. Tell your friends. Tell whoever. Hell, tell your enemies. We want everybody there. If you ever paid national insurance, we want you there. Because if you ever paid national insurance, some of the money that they carry away is yours. Some of the money that they wrote off is yours. Some of the money that they take and build fire stations and police stations and government offices is yours. But that was money that was supposed to come to you in your old age. So if you ever paid national insurance, this is people that should be on the march. If you ever paid national insurance in Barbados, you should be on this march. I can't trust them. They go through a whole elaborate rules. They lied. They tell everything. You know, Ben, I cannot believe my eyes when I read the executive summary actuarial report for 2019. They said that write-off is the cause of these problems. No person in the government, no government spokesman I've seen and I've heard Ron Adams explaining these things, and he did not tell the truth. They were aware of the actuarial report. How come there's only believe one part of the report, the part that they want you to hear? I did not hear Colin Jordan, the Minister of Labor, who is also responsible for national insurance. I did not hear him say anything to that effect, that because we had this write-off, National Insurance Fund has taken a dip. I didn't hear that. You want to know why you don't want to hear that? It was the truth. And these people are so, they got a chronic truth telling problem. They don't tell the truth, even if the truth don't hurt. They just lie. They could have said to us, look, we made a mistake. I would have respect for them. Even though we might be in the same boat right now, I would say to them, look, yeah, you know, you tried your best, you made a mistake. Let me move on from it. Let me see if we can fix it. But they are telling you that we ain't breathing, mind you, that might be true too. And all kinds of things, except what is the actual causative effect of this thing. And that effect was the $1.3 billion from the, not even the rest of the write-off money that they had. Because of Four Seasons money and all that other stuff, they wrote off too. But we ain't even talking about that. We're talking about the $1.3 billion that government was supposed to pay back to national insurance after they borrowed it. And then they said, we are not paying our debt. But national insurance should have been special. You want to know why? The people who they carry money from, the bondholders and all kind of stuff, they would have paid national insurance. The money that they took away from those people were to take care of their old age. You remember? A lot of old people had bonds that they were keeping there for when they get old. And then they tell them, look, you can take away so much from you. One woman called, and then they can delay payment. One woman called me with tears in her eyes. She said, Mr. Franklin, I will get back my money when I'm 117 years old. So I was able to speak to that in the Senate, and then the government made some changes to the thing. So they're robbing those people twice. You put money aside because you feel national insurance might not be enough for you. So you saved up. You denied yourself certain aspects, certain things that you could have bought. You eat a chicken wing because you don't want to spend too much money. And now you have suffered. Now you have withheld things to secure your old age. The government took it from you. And they took one up front from you personally. I know that, and they've taken the national insurance money that you also contributed to so that you can get a decent pension. They're taking that too. Oh Lord. How can these people sit down and say, oh, they care about Barbados? They care about Barbados. They care about what this country can do for them. Most of them in the government right now couldn't hold a job as a clerical officer in any government department. But they're ministers. And whatever else you have, they couldn't hold a job. But they bent and they line up themselves around the political parties and get favors done and do whatever they have to do to worm them their way into political office. They're here now. I know that they're here. They can't get the job done. I keep telling people all the time, see, that elections and governance have two different skill sets. If you are running an election and campaigning, that's one skill set. If you can win. But when you have not run the government, that's another skill set. These people are sadly lacking in the skill set to run the government. And mind you, they might be lacking in the skill set to run the government too, but they bought it. They outspend everybody else. Contrary to law, they break every law they get into office, and now they continue to break them. They don't pay national insurance contributions. National insurance is in dire need, is in crisis. And they take out the money from national insurance. That's not management of the economy, that doesn't matter anything. We didn't elect them for this. And I'm glad I said that because, each political party published a manifesto. And that is their program. That's what they intend to do in the next 5 years for the people of the country. Can you tell me if all of these things that these people are seeing were the manifesto? There certainly weren't things that happened suddenly, because they knew national insurance problems were on the horizon. They just worsened them. Because let me go back. I want to go back to this. I keep telling people, in 1989, I was on a pension committee. I was a member of the staff at National and UPW. But I was in the council first, and they sent me on this committee. Then I started to work there. And on that committee, I discovered that the actuaries, and this is 1989, don't forget the year, 1989, that national insurance would have experienced difficulty in meeting its obligations if nothing was done to the fund. That was 1989. Sandiford was in power. Sandiford did not act upon that report because it was too close in that general election, and he said he had done nothing to cause he to lose the government. So the changes in national insurance came about when Owen Arthur came in. Owen Arthur then went about trying to write the national insurance scheme and make sure that it can last for the more than the foreseeable future. He changed the way you computed the pensions, so you got less. He made people at the top, he changed the contribution rates, and then he kept the maximum contribution, insurable earnings, that you will pay more money. Those things were showing a benefit, showing to national insurance, to national insurance benefit. And it postponed the 1989, because in 2035, they said in 2089 that it would have come into difficulty in 2035. When Arthur made those changes, it pushed that 2035 down the road. Now this group has come back. And I remember Mayor Motley saying on one of her long press conferences that when she came into office, she discovered that the National Insurance Fund was in difficulty. That's not true. She put it back in difficulty because now, when Arthur pushed it down to 2090 or whatever it was, these people brought it back to 2035. So all of Owen Arthur's work was for naught. And all the extra payments that you made and the suffering that people endured because they get less pension, all of that, they wipe up by taking 27% of the investment portfolio of the national insurance. They wrote out 27%. Do you believe that anybody losing 27% of their portfolio could just say, well, it had no effect? This is what Rodham Adams is trying to get us to believe, that the 27%, which was the $1.3 billion, didn't have any major effect on the national insurance. It did. It put us back in a situation now where the actuaries are saying by 2035, so we're going to fix this. But when Arthur had put that down the road, pushed that far down the road, he's come back and undo it. Having undo it, they want to make it look like it is our fault. It is our fault, unless you can say that we put them in office, so it's our fault to put them in office. That's the only fault that we had. We put incompetent people in office to run the affairs of this country. So as a result, you are going to suffer. You suffer for the vote. And that is where you see the Prime Minister has more consultants than any other Prime Minister. As a matter of fact, she has more consultants than all the other Prime Ministers put together. It is laughable. You know, there was a gentleman called Steve Eptich who was Director of Finance and Planning under Errol Barrow and then under Tom Adams. That man, the role that he performed now, has 8 or so people doing the job that he used to do. And you know when they talk about too many cooks spoiling the broth? All of them put in salt. This broth, salty and tastes bad. They can't cook. This group of people don't know what they're doing. But you will see some of them at the Queen's College with me. So they're going to get a pick. Some went to Miss Carrington School, so they're going to get a pick, whether they know what to do or not. And the pick is costing you your lifeline. That is why we are marching. We are marching to tell them, look, put it back where it was. Instead of 1.3 minutes, I just take up the hand right, taking it, put it back. And then if we still can have difficulty on the road and we have to take measures will not be as harsh as you've taken now because you put back our 1.3 $1.3 billion. These measures that compensate for that, what they call a haircut. You know, it is, you know, the story about Rapunzel let down her hair. Well, that haircut had to be kind of Rapunzel's hair. Well enough. The problem is that we worship politicians. They are not the Almighty. Stop worshiping them. They are men and women like us, and they have their feelings. And this one have a feeling of the brain. They got the capacity up there. Trust me when I tell you, we made a mistake. And we put them in, and we are finding out more and more. The tax everything. The only thing that they can't do now, they're finding more the tax, so they can't be national money. I know ask you to pay it back. If you don't find that offensive, if you don't have a problem with that, you are one of the friends. You are one of the people who get the big jobs. Mind you might not get one of the big jobs at National Insurance because they got 8 new chiefs in the legislation of National Insurance. 8. Chief this, chief and that, chief and that. Everybody National Insurance has a chief. And the one Indians, you know, they don't really want all these chiefs. But it's up to you. Only you can let this government know that you mean business. I want to see you on the march. If you are not there, you are telling the government, go ahead, rob us as much as you can. We love it. Because that's what they're doing, you know. The only thing this is, they're using a gun, but the people robbing us, this is robbery without violence. Stop them. Make them consult with the people of this country when they're taking major decisions. These pieces of legislation that was going to affect everybody in this country, the government sneak them in Parliament, sneak them in on a Friday evening. Saturday, Sunday are off days. Monday and Tuesday were bank holidays, and then they're gonna break the Sunday Wednesday. Thank God for Marcy Weeks. If Marcy Weeks sure didn't come on and let people know what they were doing, we would be no wiser now. When you going to do business behind people's back, you do a business in the dark. Those are people who like darkness rather than light. They did not do it in the full light of day for everybody to see. They went behind our backs and they did their dirtiness in the dark. Well, Marshall Week Shaw spot a light on their nastiness. All what they were doing in the dark, Marshall Week Shaw put a light on it. And they had a back pedal. And now they want to dull our light by saying, oh, the march off. It is not off. It is not off. It is very much on. And we want everybody who can walk. And if you can't walk and you got a wheelchair, I'll get somebody to push her or I'll push her myself. It's too important. Be marching tomorrow. And the government afraid of it. If they were doing the right thing, they would be afraid. They would not be afraid to do the right thing. Think of that. When you're doing good, you don't go hide. And they were hiding, doing this thing in Parliament and doing it in the sly. They're trying to pass bills clandestinely. As a matter of fact, the pension bill, they didn't even read it the first time when they were planning to pass it. I know that is true because I got a memo from the deputy clerk of Parliament saying that, making that claim and that they're going to do it. Yeah, where's the thing? But it wasn't read the first time because they were so in a hurry to forget. They were rushing down the road up on the pants. And I can't tell where I got it from because, you know, but these trucks do pass and things blow off. But let them blow off a truck and I got it. I can show it to you if you don't me. Because I've saved it. And I've shared it. So if the steal my computers, it will still be there in somebody else's. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbadians, for your own protection, come out. Let me tell you my role in this now, and I want to repeat it this time again because I want people to understand. I qualify for a national insurance pension, a small one, because I never worked a lot of money. But I qualify for a small national insurance pension, all I know. The changes that it make to national insurance will not affect me because I'm a senior citizen. So this fight is not for me. I will get the same national insurance pension without any changes to the system. I will get the pension I qualify for. Today, my pension will be the same pension when I do apply for it. So I'm not doing this to get more. I am doing this because the people of the country deserve better. And if you didn't see, I try to be your eyes and let you and see for you and then tell you what I see. And this was done in a way so that you wouldn't know it's happened until it happened to you. But that will be down the road. That will be when you reach 68. Time fair. The government should not go about doing things in the dark and don't keep the population aware of what they're doing. Look, mind you, I am going to get a national insurance pension if I live long enough. And I'm going to get one pension from the government. I ain't going to get another, and that's at 68, 67. Because my pension isn't going to go up. They're going to get one at 50, and they're going to get another one at 68. But if they're old enough, they will get at 67. And they want to take away all of yours and none of theirs. They're in this business for themselves. And you better believe it. These people don't look. When I was a boy, we had people in the house who could have done better, but came to give service to this country. They didn't come for the income because the income was far smaller than they would have gotten had they stuck to their thing. You remember the fellow that Richie Haynes, top-notch doctor, specialist, heart. And he came into office. He took a deep cut in his income to serve this country. We ain't getting a lot of people like that anymore. We got people who are paupers, who get into office, and they have to milk this country to secure their future because then the men got the job, they have to go back because they went to school and learn nothing, or they won't find a decent job. If they're not in power, they're suffering. That's probably why they bring the pensions at age 50. Because when they lose office, they can't go back to the job, they can't go back to doing nothing. Go and pick up bottles. I see people do it and it's no crime or not able to get locked up. Do not feel like the country owe you anything. You come to give service, so you say, but the country, you give 5 years service and then you get another 3 and you got a pension for life. 8 years service. The sanitation people who got to give 40 years service, all the statutory boards on the Statutory Boards Pension Act, they have to give 40 years service and now to get nothing. Because when they reach retirement age, it's going to be 68, the national insurance age, and the government going to wipe out one of the pensions. So you would have worked 40 years and you're going to try to go down. Goodbye. You don't get a pension. But a fellow who only worked for 8 can get 2 pensions. And because their salaries are far in excess of what you're earning, they're going to get, you can get $400 and somebody dollars. They're going to get $4,000 for 8 years service. And your 40 years ain't going to count. The civil servants, on the other hand, theirs is 33 and a third, 400 months. And you are wiping out their pension now too. You are saying to them, oh, you will be pensionable early, but pensionable earlier don't mean that you qualify for the pension. That means that you have pensionable service. So they put fancy words in the legislation so people can get something. You ain't get nothing. You can get it. You will not get, but you will find out at 68 that you ain't getting nothing. That is not fair. And they're asking you to pay to get nothing. Because under the new legislation or the new amendments, you have to pay, take out some of your money and put into that fund. You don't got to take it out, they can take it out for you. And they can take out that money, put it in a fund, and then when it comes to retirement age, you are not going to get a pension. Because national insurance pension that you are already paying for two, you're paying for two pensions to get one. You will not be paying for two pensions and only get one. But the politicians keeping two. The politicians keeping two. They will put the pensions for everybody but kept it for themselves. How can you love people like that? Yeah, what happened? This is some sort of Stockholm syndrome where you love the people who enslave you or who imprison you. You don't love your captors. And thanks, Ricky Striker. You just put up something here that I plan to talk about, but it slipped me. Thank you so much. If you apply for your national insurance pension early today, it will be reduced by 0.5% for each month you apply early, or basically 6% year. So if you claim a year early, you lose 6%. 2 years, 12. 3 years, 18. 4 years, 24. Now, if you apply early, 4 years, that's 24. These people now are deciding about, look, they can it up to 0.75% which will be 9% per year. So at 9 years, at 4 years, 4 9 is 36, you will lose 36% of your pension for life. That's 36% is almost half. So that means that if you are in a situation, let's say you got ill and cannot continue to work, and you apply for your pension early, you can lose 36% of it for 4 years, or 3 years, 27. You think these people care about you? So what they're actually doing now, when the fellas see like I can lose so much of my pension if I apply early, you ain't gonna apply early. You will only apply early if and when you are in such dire straits that you can't do anything more than that. You ain't got nothing to fall back on. And if you are down and out, have nothing to fall back on, the government will rob you again. Under this proposal, the government will rob you again. When you have nothing, the government going to take that from you too. Good there. I do not want you to march. I will march the bar and I will march Sandy.
You're right. Saturday and Sunday. I'm telling you what about talking about people not to march and spreading lies. And you know, you can tell she's afraid. She's now offering people $100. That's the 7 o'clock news. Right? All the things that they did today, because guess what? They you know, I know she's afraid. Are you still hearing the echo on my microphone?
It's better than it was, but we will make it do.
Okay, I have Winston is on, and Winston, let's hear yours and see if yours is any better.
You're muted, Winston.
Oh, okay. I think I'm unmuted now.
Good.
Are you hearing me?
We hear you now.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I just want to say though that I would love for everybody to come out. I have Kemar Stuart on the line here. All right, Kemar, I'm speaking to you while I'm live on the March Week show. I'm hoping that you will come on. Could you just click on the link and come on, please? All right, I'm going to send that to you.
Kemar is actually on already. That's him here.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, I got that message from you. Yes, there's a rumor going around stating that the march has been called off. Now we know the shenanigans of these people. We know what they're up to, and they would do anything to dissuade or deter people from coming out to that march, especially in numbers, because that would show them up. All right. But the march is on, everyone, for tomorrow, the Saturday the 12th, from 10 a.m. from Kensington over the Massey Car Park opposite. At 10 a.m., we'll be there. We have 3 hours to take our cool time, okay, and march up to Independence Square, where we will be speaking and en route, okay, and letting everybody know the transgressions of this current administration relevant to the pension and national insurance scheme. All right. I, for one, I would love for them to give back us our money. As Caswell would have raised the point that they are just trustees of the fund and they never asked our permission to use our money to do any investments or whatever. Um, they never asked that. So I am quite surprised to see that
I
they're just
cannot
written
hear
off.
anything whatsoever.
You're not hearing anything? Who is not hearing? Are you hearing me, Marcia?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Kemar is not hearing.
Kemar is not hearing. I don't know.
Kemar,
You hear me,
Kemar is.
Caswell? You hear me, Caswell? Okay, he's
Yeah,
muted.
but I'm hearing you well, but
Okay,
I
okay.
can't hear you.
All right. Anyway, I am surprised to see that they will write off more than $2 billion. When they can't do that with China, they can't do that with the IMF, they can't do that with the World Bank. And these people keep demeaning us, the Barbadian public, all the time. I keep stressing on the comments that are being made by RPM on social media. Very disparaging, very belittling, as if we are non-entities. You know, I'm to see the people who adulate her. You know, she could come out and say things like, we outside. You understand? And everybody jumping up saying, we outside, when she's the person who put everybody inside in the first place. She can come on and say she don't give a what nobody say. You understand? Everybody jumping and saying, yeah. You understand? And these people are the same people who are going to be biting the nail just like us. The same people who vote for her, the same people who adulate, etc. You understand? This is time that we come out in force and not only come out once, but come out continuously. And when they see the numbers, they will take stock because they will know there will be no return to them for the 30 seats again. They will know that it's time that we start taking people from among us to represent us who can empathize with us, not nobody with a silver spoon in the mouth. You understand? Outrageous. 68 years old. Can you imagine that? I saw a situation where a gentleman who was working at a secondary school here, he retired a day. He died the same day. You understand that? That happened
Yeah.
some last year. You're aware of that, Caswell?
Foundation.
Foundation school.
I have a
That's
little
right.
days.
The same
Yeah.
day. You understand? You could imagine, though, if he were if this had been implemented, he wouldn't get to see retire at all. You understand? This is atrocious, man. I'm begging everybody to come out. I'm begging you to bring your friends, bring your family, bring your children, bring everybody. You understand? And when you see this on social media, share it all tonight. Be sharing. Share from St. Lucie to Christchurch. Share from St. Andrew back to St. Michael to St. James. Share it in St. George and St. Thomas. Share this with everybody because when we come out, we want to come out. I want a good couple of thousand people out there, man. I want a good couple of thousand people. Because when they see these numbers, you will see how fast they will react. Because we did it the last time and they reacted immediately. You understand? The first time I ever see, they called and they was able to meet with the whole parliament. You understand me? We need that. We can repeal this. Let people know, Caswell, that even if they pass a bill, that it can be repealed. Let them know that the president still has to sign off. And there are things that we can do because if we don't accept it, we don't want it, they can't initiate or institute it. All right? And people have to realize the power they have, the unity that we have. Let us all come out, please. I'm begging you. All right? I'm bending knees. Come out one and all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Winston. Let's see if Kemar, can you hear now?
Yeah, before I do that, Marcia, I just
Yes.
got a call. That's why I'm muted. Somebody want to know what color to wear. I just tell them any color. Come as
Any
long as you're
color,
naked.
any
You want
color
to
at
know?
all. Just come.
Just come. Just let them know. Come. Come and whatever you
Polka
want.
dot, pinstripe, just come. Just come.
Yes, somebody here is asking, did the DLP leader make any public statements about NIS yet? And we have to be honest and say
As,
they did today.
as
They
we
did
speak,
today.
as we speak,
Mm,
they're doing it now. As we speak right now, he's doing some
mhm.
little thing or the other. Okay, as we
Yeah.
speak.
So
But I
so
think it's
they
just
did
a
a
result of us speaking.
well, and that's the whole thing. And this is what when we say to people, don't say that the march is not going to help or you doing your, something. It's not going to help. Look at what's happening. This is on the lips of everybody. Before we came on, it wasn't on the lips of everybody. So do something in your small way. I'm just hoping that Kemar, can you hear? Kemar is not hearing.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear. I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Winston, you can go ahead because my sound is terrible. But listen, we're working as a team tonight. Okay.
Okay. Yes, Kimar, come on, please, and let us hear you. Let us hear your comments. Kimar has been continuous
Yeah.
in his comments and his videos, and I would like you to come on and educate us, please. Go ahead, Kimar.
Hey. Good night to everyone. Good night to you, Winston, Marcia, Caswell. Good night to the audience. Just wanna say thank you for having me on the show. Um. So where do we start? We're discussing the NIS and the raising of the pension age. Um. As Caswell started rightfully by saying this issue started with the write-off in 2018, where by stroke of a pen, robbed the NAS of $1 billion in their debt restructuring, a debt restructuring which was overpaid for, and having white oaks. If you could remember,
Mhm.
the international press criticizing the government for overpaying fees to restructuring. And the debt restructuring in Barbados costs more than the debt restructurings in Greece and many other larger countries which paid way less for debt restructuring. But Barbados overpaid for ours to a company called, well, it was just basically like a two-man boutique backyard company,
Yeah.
which most people never really heard of. And Caswell could correct me if I'm wrong there. Um,
We
so
keep going.
after the restructuring, the government rolled out the IMF BERT plan, and in the IMF BERT plan, one of the stipulations was to fix the pension system. If you look back at any of the IMF documentations, you would always see pension reform as one of the listed agendas. Years passed on, they never got to do it. And the government called an early election because they were becoming too unpopular in the way how to handle the vaccine issues, and there were protests and people fighting against that. So they didn't want to touch the pension reform in the midst of all of the trouble to help topple the government at the time. So on December 7th last year, the government, or MIA, came out in a press conference and announced that we were going to enter into another IMF program, and the two items that were left on there were pension reform and state-owned enterprise reform, the SOE reform. So outside of the writing off of the debt, the government actually mismanaged the NIS during the COVID period. And how then can you instruct for an actuarial review to be done in the midst of COVID after you know how the severe run on all of your funds? How can you do an actuarial review and expect it to show that the funds will be up? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. I would think that the actuarial review should have been done after you put back the money in the NAS and wait until it has been replenished to have a better understanding of what was happening there. So I'm thinking that this is an agenda, as par course or whatever agreements they signed on to stop people from getting pensions later on in their lives, because the IMF has criticized Barbados's social system as far back as Sir Lloyd Sandy for saying that it is too generous to the people and they have to roll back and cut some of the benefits. So Barbados has been under pressure internationally for some time to reduce and cut out some of these benefits that we receive. So, for example, the non-contributory pension, the IMF has criticized that severely and said that it does not tackle poverty alleviation too well, and that they would want it moved. But for some odd reason, the Barbados Labour Party had in their manifesto that they were going to increase non-contributory pension, and Warnafa predicted that such a plan would have bankrupted the NIS eventually. And we're starting to see some of the repercussions of the policy decisions that the government made. Now, if you listen to Dr. Kevin Greenwich, you would hear him saying constantly that the BERT plan and the IMF plan is a local plan, and they would have crafted this plan locally, and it's not the IMF's plan, and the IMF has nothing to do with the implementation of these things that the IMF only recommend. To me, that's basically bullshitting the people, because we signed on to the IMF program, and through the IMF program, we know approximately $4 billion in foreign debt, and that was not the case in 2018. Right now, we are still banned from international credit markets because of the same restructuring, and the government is borrowing from these institutions, claiming that it was cheap money. But then they got the shock of their lives when they realized that the interest rates jumped 400%, which basically puts Barbados into a debt trap with a growing elderly population, very low youth employment in the public sector, and you're not really opening up any new industries or whatever to get people into work. You're not fixing the chronic issues that the NIS has, like employers stealing the NIS money and holding on to it and refusing to pay in. We're not speaking about the fact that the Attorney General during COVID extended the severance period from about 13 weeks to about 22, 23 weeks. And that helped put a serious damper on the severance fund. And that could be referenced also in the actual review by Derek Osborne, where he said that the changes by the Attorney General to the severance fund actually helped to destroy the severance fund in the NIS. So going further, the government allowed employers to hold on to whatever payments were due to the NIS for extended periods of time during COVID, and they never sought to recoup that money to be able to recapitalize the NIS. And upwards to today, the government still has to work up with the IMF how they're going to actually recapitalize the money that they would have written off in 2018. So that, on top of the fact that, and this is not just a Barbados Labour Party issue, no, and this NIS issue is a political issue, but across both governments, really, we saw the NIS being used for purposes that it should not have been used. And the government used legislation basically to increase the borrowing limits of the NIS. So, for example, if the government was legally mandated to hold 60% of government bonds on the NIS portfolio, the governments were using legislation to increase that to 70%, 80%, just rough examples, and giving themselves access to extra revenues through the NIS where they couldn't get money elsewhere. So if you check the government's debt portfolio, through the NIS, a large section of the NIS's debt portfolio is government bonds. And if you check through the history, it was not always like that. So you had governments misusing the fund, keep raising the limit to keep drawing money from the NIS, and they were never replenishing it, just writing it off, just giving it away, never seeking to collect it. So You heard Rod Adams speaking about investing the monies of the NIS overseas, and persons had issues with that. So to explain that a tad bit, and I keep mentioning the borrowing limit, they're saying that they're reducing the limit. They're reducing the limit of investments that the government can use to borrow funds locally. So basically, they are capping the politicians at the knees locally to allow for the politician to go and invest overseas, which takes foreign exchange from the central bank. Now, if they're saying they want to invest this money overseas to bring back returns or whatever, that actually changes the money of what is a national insurance scheme, and it changes it into something else. It won't be a national insurance then. You're changing the function of it, and then you're changing it over into a statutory board, which means that you're trying to move it from being a public service job, and now you're going to work for the NIS board. So loosening the regulations on top of the investment portfolio without the transparency as to who will be the investment managers over the portfolio, what is the limits to the investments, what are the categories of investments that you can invest the monies into, who is going to benefit from these investments if the government itself is going to open companies and go and invest overseas, or will it be another situation where they're going to allow their big oligarch friends to benefit from the NIS to go and do their overseas biddings? These are things that we need to know, as opposed to just saying that the government is going to reduce the ability to borrow locally and put the money overseas. We always know in Barbados, whenever the government unlocks some type of money, it usually ends up in the hands of like 1, 2, 3 players. And let's look at the vaccine scandal, and you will understand where I'm coming from with this. Right. So to jump out of the frying pan into the fire without the transparency, and in Barbados, there's no such thing really known as transparency. We only hear if you end up in a court case overseas, or you only hear if the international media would report it. And as Caswell said, persons are afraid to be victimized locally in the press and not carry these type of issues because they still have to eat. So my thing is here, the fund needed to be protected from the abuses of ministers and the parliamentarians, yes. However, there were other suggestions on the table, as opposed to raising the age to 68. The little warrior came out and said he would prefer early retirement. The same way we could go and borrow from billions to borrow from the IMF. We could go and borrow from the IMF to allow persons who want to come out the civil service early, fully paid, and allow for a higher drove of young persons who have a longer time to work in the public service to get a chance to work. I would have thought that for a government who promised youth empowerment, that would have been the direction you were looking to go, as opposed to asking people to work basically until death. So what I'm seeing here, I'm very happy that we are protesting these issues. And why I'm extremely happy is because I actually wrote a book speaking about pension reform in Barbados. And in this book, it came back lockstep and verbatim. Everything I put on the table, the government actually implemented the same way it was done around the world in all of the IMF programs. Every country that was on the IMF program that restructured its pension system, the recommendations were almost the same. Increase the pension age, cut benefits for certain classes or whatever. They carried out allowances for the high-level civil servants and for their friends. We have a very nasty case of politics here where a union leader is sitting in parliament negotiating wage increases for herself and for her parliamentary colleagues. The government actually set up their pension by extension where they would have given themselves every time the public servants had a pay increase, the parliamentarians had a pay increase. So the parliamentarians had two pay increases, which by extension mean like their pay later will possibly increase. So they increase their pension de facto, where they're going to retire early to get that pension. But then they say to the people that we're going to cut your pension pay and then you still have to work longer. So it's just basically upfront direct fleecing and robbery of the people, reducing you back to the state of a pauper where you will constantly be paying in, and never collecting. And the government also, if you check the health system, the government will not pay enough attention to the health of the people because the government may prefer people to be unhealthy close to death, because that means that one, they don't gotta pay them free non-contributory pension, and also they could keep the people's money that were paying in over all the years so that they could do whatever they want to do with that money.
Okay. All right.
I'm glad you went down that road, Kemar, and I'm going to thank you for jogging my memory, because there's something that I missed the whole week. And if you didn't start with this severance thing, I think I remember you just said that the government extended the severance to 22 weeks. But remember they extended it for that additional period, and then they took adjudication of those claims away from the normal severance payments tribunals and set up a one-man show to come and hear the claims. Because under the Severance Payment Act, and you do not get your severance pay from your employer, you go to national insurance. National insurance would summon the employer. The employer could choose not to come and offer no evidence and defend his case, in which case your case is much easier. But the government pull a fast one on people, and I've heard nobody with it. They took all the people out of COVID and put them under a special dispensation. So if you apply for your severance under COVID and the employers don't pay, then you will apply to national insurance, and national insurance will pay up front and then get it back from the employer. That is the normal procedure. And they purport to do the same thing for the worker, for these COVID people. But they cannot enforce that legislation. You want to know why? The order was signed by Ryan Strong, minister responsible for severance. He was never minister responsible for severance. So no employer will have to obey that order. So that's the trick. If you don't have, because when you go to the employer now, the national insurance go to the employer and say, you owe us this amount of money because we paid on your behalf, you got to pay it back. The employer says, under what authority? Because Ryan Strong had the authority to sign any orders minister with severance. So he cannot bind employers to pay anybody anything. And I think that was the trick. I was thinking that it was a mistake. But it's not a mistake. It is a way out for employers, for national insurance, to pay all of that additional severance for all those hotels who shut down and send home people, and then don't have to pay it back. Every other employer who make people redundant and they cannot pay at the same time, the national insurance go after you to pay it back over a period of time. They give you sometimes to pay it back with interest. These ones, however, that went home during COVID, will only have to do it on paper. But in actual fact, there is no law in place that can force them to pay, because Ryan Strong wrote the law and he didn't have the authority. I think that was deliberate. Thank you, Kemar. You just jogged my memory. So that is another draw on the fund. So all the severance payments that were paid out of that fund ain't going back in, because the employers now don't have to pay it back. So that was another way of fleecing the fund again.
Yeah, but you jog my memory as to something else. The government gave the hoteliers that big benefit of severance. And then on top of that, they still turn around and give them a free $300 million in the best program for nothing.
Yeah.
So
And
you
they
heard,
employ people and pay them 80%.
you heard
Then they
the
start
other
paying people,
day,
they give people 3
they're
days work.
speaking about, so, right, you heard them the other day speaking about the fact that the best program was a failure or whatever. So most of the money that was drawn down on the best program, it was supposed to be for training. It was supposed to be facilitating renewable energy transfers. So the hoteliers got free money to rebuild their properties, plants, and equipment, and nothing to show from it. So how come there's no accountability in the government reclaiming that free money? $300 million that they just gifted to the hotels, just gifted them the severance. And my thing, we need to look at how the government is using these so-called independent organizations to help control Barbados. So once upon a time, we had strong unions. Now we have subdued, captive unions. Once upon a time, we had strong political parties. Now we got subdued, captive political parties. So it's not just MPs and the 30 people in there. You actually got offshoots of these 30 people in these independent organizations doing the bidding of the government, setting up themselves, lobbying, and the government is channeling the large sums of money, taxpayers' money, through these organizations for whatever reasons they want. So, well, we will get that. My last point here I really want to touch on before we move off would have been the how this entire pension thing is connected to the digitization of government, and how through possibly the digital ID, the government would try to get pensioners and eventually get all pension payments or whatever transferred over to a digital payment card. So it would end up being one ID, one card. All your monies and everything will be on your digital ID, and the government was moving full steam ahead to digitize the public service or whatever, be able to facilitate this, and all new entrants to the public service would have been mandated to use this new method of receiving payments. So, and even if you chose to retire early from the service, they would put a punishment on you to say that you got to work all the time or not. They will punish you and you receive less pension. As we know, probably thanks to you, Vincent, and the others, the push for digitization was not successful or as successful as the government hoped. And in our large elderly population, I'm not sure how very technical our people is as it relates to this digitization move. And I think that want to play that in their favor as well, where persons who may choose not to go the digital route will just be completely left out. Just be left out.
I'll tell you something.
I think that's another area. So go ahead.
I'll tell you something. A few months ago, the Labor Department sent me a bill. They want to start this bill for me to make some comments on. It is the Protection of Wages bill. They're going to do a new Protection of Wages. We already have a Protection of Wages Act, which prevents employers from paying in rum shops. You can't pay in a rum shop unless you're working in a rum shop. You can't take out people's money without their consent. You can't do a lot of things. And you've got to pay people in legal tender. That's what the hallmarks this thing, because in the old days,
yes,
the plantation owners just said, well, look, I ain't got no money to pay this week, so hold this bag of cut yams. That was outlawed. It was outlawed by the ILO, and our government then put it into our law because we were not a country that could join the ILO because we were still a colony. So Grantley Adams put that piece of legislation, I think it was in 1951, on the books. And it said you could pay a man in legal tender and not otherwise unless he give you permission. So you can even pay a man by a check unless the man said go ahead and pay. They have retained those. But what they have done also in that act is to say digital money is legal tender. So any employer now in Barbados, whether digitalization is passed, can pay you with whatever kind of digital money they got. And that is dangerous because I do a lot of my shopping in the fresh market and the cheap trade market.
Good.
So I don't see those hawkers or this when the digital payment stuff coming to that my car from me. I still want dollar bills. But these people are going hell bent on what the international community telling them to do without having regard to what is going on in this country. If they were not just listening to the IMF and they will not go ahead with these cutting people pension, not with the cost of living galloping like this. People pension don't last.
Casual, if you remember the debt settlement bill, where the government passed a law saying that those persons who were owed injury, some like disability,
Yeah, yeah,
if the government owed you any money or whatever, if they even owed you for compulsory acquisition of land that they were going to pay you in bonds.
yeah. I remember.
That yes, that part too is a means of way in which the government rob or is attempting to rob the people because they know that these bonds really don't have any value due to the way they destroyed that treasury bill market. And if you read one Arthur's comics, the type of debt restructuring Barbados did was only ever done in Russia, which is almost like a de facto dictatorship. It was done in Ukraine as well, and Uruguay, not even Greece. So Barbados is up there as it relates to the implementation of the worst draconian measures as it relates to taking money from the people, holding on to that money, and saying to the people, you can either take bonds or you take nothing, and using the parliament to mandate that against the same very people that would have voted them in there.
But what is ironic is that you had your government paper and the government give you this haircut and take off all your government paper and the government give back government paper again. Would you trust government paper after mayor and her people went ahead and left people paupers who had government paper? I certainly don't want anything but government, any government try to build bond nothing by government because they'll go back the next time and say, okay, we the planning not to do it, but we got the choice, we can do it again. I want $100 bills, I want $20 bills, I want $5 bills and that kind of stuff. I want them. I don't want a paper that I cannot carry the popular.
And the only legal requirement to make what Caswell just said happen is for it was approximately 75% of the investors to agree to new restructurings and new haircuts. And if you understand how the Barbados financial system is set up, approximately 4 institutions, government-run institutions, own 75% of the debt. So basically, the government is giving the government permission to rob the people.
That was nasty because I have a contract with you. I have a contract with Winston. And I have a contract with another party. And if two of the people that two of the people I have contract with say, oh man, go ahead and do mine, that don't mean that I can offer the third. The third gonna agree to. But they see the thing is, Bajans don't hold the politicians accountable for anything. And that's the problem. We get vexed and we say, well, we can remove them at election time. But you know how much damage these people can do between now and the next election? You can't wait. March. Let them know that if they do foolishness, we're going to speak up against it. We can't go to the house and speak because they got all the seats. So we can speak on the road. We can march. We can let the people know. And hopefully one of these days, CBC will get enough guts to come and join us too.
Okay. I think just jumping quickly here. There's something going on social media. Speaking about the NIS fund, right? And it really is like a little package of what everybody's speaking about. It's saying that the NIS fund was set up with government as a trustee. You have said this, reiterated this time and time again, Caswell. Government, after many years, woke up one morning and realized this thing got in a lot of money. More money than the workers need right now. So under the guise of investment opportunity, they started dipping their hands into the fund, dispatching millions along with their other rich investment friends, into construction projects, investments that hardly carry any significant profit except for the acquisition of assets. Unfortunately, some of these projects crashed and millions went down the drain. Besides this, many unscrupulous employers kept extracting monies from workers already slender pay packets as NIS contributions before actually paying them into the scheme. After years of being assaulted back and front, the powers that be announced the fund is on its last legs and drastic measures must be implemented. However, before they initiated any austerity measures, they forced to write off all debts owed to the fund to the tune of $1 billion and more. Now, the stage was set to apply pressure upon the only people who had no hand in the fund's demise. The only people who come rain or shine each week, each month, each year, steadfastly donated a tithe of their earnings with the hope of one day, if God spared their lives, recouping some of it before they close their eyes as a lifeline for their survival in the twilight years. However, the plunderers decided that no, they must contribute more over an extended period. Furthermore, having so severely violated the fund that it now needed CPR, they are proposing to abandon it and turn it over to private enterprise. No mention of repaying the contributions they took and mismanaged. No attempt to retrieve those monies not contributed but extracted from the workers. Just a decree that 250 more contributions will make you a member of the Fortunate 68 Club. Unbelievably, the powers that steal after such a clandestine affair still has enough popularity among the populace that they have found many willing to come to the defense of this diabolical and sinister act against workers' rights. The political yard folk. They're saying that the only interest is the defense of the party and the sworn allegiance. It goes on to speak about political yard folks and how they come out and they defend, etc. But in a nutshell, that was what we've all been speaking about, what they did to the NIS, right? And I believe that tomorrow will be a pivotal turning point in what will continue to happen relevant to this administration and how they implement legislation continuously. All right. I'm hoping, well, I know that people will come out, but I'm hoping that we get a shock. Like I was shocked that day and in August the 7th, 2 years ago. I want a shock tomorrow. That's the truth, all right? And I'm hoping that Kemar, yourself, Caswell, you keep educating these people because I have learned so much in listening to each of you. I mean, things that I never knew. I would do a lot of studying myself, but there are certain intrinsic and really interesting points that you would have brought up, that you would have enlightened the public to, which these people keep and conceal from us. You understand? And cloak it in all kind of verbiage so that the normal man cannot understand. And I thank you guys for this. I thank you immensely. Continue, Caswell, if you have more to say. Hello, you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I mute because I don't want feedback going in the system, but
That's all right.
I got the time, I'll give an example of the yard folks that you're talking about. If you will notice that I put Facebook yesterday a video that was taken of me using a broom to slosh boat in some stinking water at inside the polyclinic at St. Philip. I thought inside, not outside the yard, inside. Just the only thing separating the people who are waiting for treatment and that thing, we got to close the door. And they outside said, no, the corridor now. And you won't believe, but one yard folk jumped on me. Just so, because he thinks that everything you say about this government, as I posted within minutes, he says, how do you know that this is actually a room that is in use? It may be on the complex, but not in use. It is inside the building where people were just they had to close the door because, and the government give you a little misinformation today too. They said, but construction work, 4 months. No, the construction work was suspended 4 months ago. they suspended the officer that was doing the construction, that was responsible for the construction, and suspended work. So all our water that fall, because the roof is compromised, it gets in the building and there's nowhere for it to get out. And the yard folks attacking me.
You
Showing,
expect that.
yeah, I know, but the thing is, just to show you how really blind and stupid they have these people, that they would do anything or say anything to defend this government's nasty behavior. You know? How we get so? I remember Sandyford asking, former Prime Minister Sandyford saying, how we get back to this? But Barbadians were never at this level of stupidity. That you have people at a political party and don't care what they do. They are right.
You understand
They
that?
carry national insurance money. And these people are still saying that they're right. When these young people, they lose their national money too, you know. But they don't care because their government cannot hear.
Okay.
I can assure you that if this was done by Francis Stuart in this administration, boy, the world would be full of people. Headed by Mayor Motley. She'd be up front. With all the merchants and
What's interesting to Caswell and Mason, y'all can remember this post about senior ministers, where the government almost increased the pay of these senior ministers by close to like $20,000 per month, and it was for them. So collectively, these 5 ministers work for $906,000 collectively, and collective cabinet salaries of $4 million a year. And we got 4 more years to go to the election, which means that the cabinet have at least $16 more million to draw out the people before we could vote them out.
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
And
right? You go ahead and finish, me. I was you finish.
Okay. I have the mumble here in the background.
Right. So if I understand this correctly, you made people senior ministers so that when they retire, they can get a bigger and heftier pension. Right? You send the money to all of these people who don't do no work really, because they just sit back and lap legs, in my opinion. You increase the, like I say, you increase the benefits to the allowances to the top level civil servants again, which means that the senior ministers gain another increase for doing nothing. And then we still have people who will jump up and cheer, not realizing that these people suck $4 million a year in cabinet salaries out to the people.
Now, let me tell you something, see. This senior minister thing is a ruse. In the Westminster system, there's no senior minister. All right? This senior minister was created in Barbados when Arthur took down Billy Miller, when she was deputy prime minister, and put me as deputy prime minister. And Billy get vexed. So when Arthur decided that he's going to pay Billy the same money, don't make the noise, I can give you the same money as mayor, and so I call it senior minister. Senior minister doesn't have any more duties than any other minister, because a minister is a minister. All ministers are equal, and because you know saying that some of these ministers supervise other ministers. No, the supervisor of the ministers is the prime minister. Prime minister is first among equals. All the rest all of them are equal, but the prime minister is first. Now she has some other first. Those 5 other people now become first too, because they are now supervising ministers. The minister's only supervisor in the system of government that we have is the prime minister. Prime minister can hire and fire them. Senior ministers only draw pay. And that is what they did. They're always finding a way to fleece this country. They're not senior minister. And the first senior minister that had in the Caribbean was George Price in Belize. He was Belize. He was the first prime minister, and he did so much for this country. I didn't find. So when he lost the government, the opposition, he was in the opposition benches, and out of a mark of respect, in opposition, the government of Belize called him senior minister, so that he would still retain all the rights of the diplomatic passport and all kind of stuff. It was an honorary title. They had nothing to do with no getting additional pay. It was honorary because even the opposition recognized that this man was a great man and that he should be seen as such. And they call him senior minister. It's an honorary title. These people come in here now and create these things called senior ministers, and with no real thing. But mind you, our constitution, all of them, all the governments, will fleece us. Because the constitution of Barbados, the one that we had before and the one that they got now, does not provide for more than one minister in the ministry. It says that if the minister needs help, you will give them a parliamentary secretary. But everybody has gone and put 2 ministers without a minister in the ministry. A minister in the ministry does not have a portfolio. He does not have anything to do because he can't make decisions. And like Ryan Strong went and sang the servants thing, and he had the authority to do it, that would make it illegal. He ain't got no power. Because a minister must have a portfolio. He ain't got none. Even though he might take care of the work the prime minister can do, because the prime minister remains minister of finance, but she ain't got one financial brain cell about her. So he might be doing the but he should be a parliamentary secretary. So all of those people are being paid over and above what the law says. But then they can come and carry our money. That's the problem I got with it, you know. They're feathering their own nest. They're making sure that they get anything they can get their hands on. You know, if it wasn't nailed down, these people get there. And now you're telling me, are you serious? And if you said, oh, I'm going to climb, Lord help you. They would pull up the nails. Everything that they do is to benefit themselves. I have not seen anything that these people do to benefit Barbados. If Barbados benefits from anything they do, it was an afterthought. It wasn't the intent. Look, Barbadians, please stand up for yourselves. I tell you already, and I can tell you again tonight, because people think, and people talk about Caswell doing that. Caswell, frankly, will not benefit one iota, and they will not lose anything in this national insurance, these national insurance changes, simply because I am too old to lose here. So the cuts ain't gonna get to me. I can still need 500 contributions. I can still be able to go home at 67 and draw my pension at 67. So these changes do not affect me. I am out here fighting for you. I'm pointing out to you that you need to stand and fight for yourselves. So if I can fight for you, you can fight for yourself too. And let me tell you something. I do not expect to see police and soldiers on the march. All right? I talk about participating in the march. But I expect to see everybody else. Because everybody else, even though the police and soldiers are people who pay national insurance too, you know, they got certain things about their job that you don't really want to have them involved. But everybody else that pay national insurance should be out there with us. Everybody else. And I can tell you, the police are supporting us. I tell you, the police hear me and very happy to see me and telling me keep up the good work. Because they can't do it. You know, and I understand that. I don't credit them down for anything. I respect them. But we got to stand up for ourselves this time. As a matter of fact, you got to stand up for you, because I right now I'm standing up and I'm not standing up for me. I am not going to suffer any loss as a result of these changes. You are. And if I'm going to go there and march on your behalf,
Right.
then come and march for yourself. Because let me tell you something. The more people out there, the least they can do to victimize you. Because they can't victimize everybody. Let's say they got 100 people out there on the march. And these 100 people, I talk about in one government department or whatever. You think they can send all? No. The more out there, the better, the more protected you are. Go out there and stand up for your rights. Go out there and stand for yourself. They can't victimize all.
That's right.
I right now they're frightened to victimize anybody because they think they'll be another march.
Yeah.
They don't want the marches. So
Yes.
people,
We
please.
have some. we have someone here asking who are the current senior ministers. There are about 5 of them.
Duguay,
If I can remember,
Duguay,
Kerry
Jerome,
Simmons,
Carrie Simmons.
Dugade.
Jerome? No, he's just saying, huh?
No, Jerome is the senior minister as well. We have Carrie Simmons, William Duguay, and William Duguay is a strange fellow because he didn't even make it in the cabinet the first time.
Mm.
And I understand that there was some disquiet, and to spell that disquiet and make it senior minister, he ain't got nothing to do because they don't have anything for him to do. They got too many ministers. You remember when Frandl had 17? He had said that he only needs 12. That most barbers would need 12 ministers. How much you got now again? 17 was too many
Yeah.
for Frandl.
Well, no, not really on the show. Something now came back to my mind. We were speaking about senior ministers.
Excuse
If you all
me.
can remember
Oh,
the Hyatt and
I wanted,
the building of the Hyatt.
I wanted to let the member come
Right.
in. He's been there for the while in the studio, so just wanted to let him come in. Continue saying what you're saying, but just the member box.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
I was saying that now you were speaking about the senior ministers. I can remember when the Hyatt was going up, we had a very active social activist who was quote unquote speaking and representing on behalf of the people and filing injunctions in court to stop the building of the Hyatt on the basis of the fact that there were no environmental assessment impacts. So now that the government has changed, we are hearing about plans to sell the entire Bay Street, even sell government headquarters straight down to all by Kensington to sell the building that central purchasing is on. And we're not hearing anything about any environmental impact assessments. We are not hearing any protests. We're not hearing about anything going on. And
Jerry
that caused me to go and do some research as it relates to the town plan. I personally did not recall that the position of chief town planner was abolished. And that person was moved from there and a new office was created called the director of planning, the director of planning or so. And the law was changed in the legislation. It won't say that where an environmental impact assessment was mandatory. It now says that the minister in charge of town and country planning may instruct that the environmental impact assessment should be done, which actually took away the necessity, the legal mandate to have the environmental impact assessments done on coastal properties or whatever to be able to develop Barbados. And when I saw that, I said, this is where Barbados is going to be sold out. This is where the lands are going to be sold out. That's why we're having issues with things like Savvy on the Bay. That's why we're having issues with all of these persons with their land. That's why we're having issues in St. Lawrence Gap, where the government want legally acquire people properties to build marinas and not go through the right processes. And the person who was up front is now the ambassador to CARICOM, who's David Commission. And we don't really get that type of activism from him anymore. So I was wondering if it is that the change of legislation was his suggestion, or was that the government changed it and caused them to shut up. It was baffling to me.
When Lamamba speaks, I will answer you on that. The same commission thing. Let Lamamba speak.
No, well, peace to everyone. I'm just here. I'm here learning. I don't know anything about what is taking place. I'm a student. I'm just here taking it in, and I'll be a part of it. I'm not going to get any pension. I'm not looking to get any pension, but I'm with the people that's out there that's working, and I think that they deserve, after paying so much money over the years, that they deserve to be compensated for the work they have done for Barbados. So that's my personal reason for being there. But as far as I'm just here listening to all of you, and I'm learning about what actually this whole bill and what they're doing and the changes that they're making that's taking place. I'm learning about that.
Thank you. You just
All
hope,
right. Let me tell you something now.
hope that you will come out with your people. You know, you got a lot of the support. So looking forward to meeting up with you tomorrow.
No, we are gonna be definitely there, brother. You mean
No,
that's me. You know what I mean? That's me. Wherever the activism is taking place, I'm there.
All right. You were saying Caswell?
Kemar just said something about this activist. You know, over the years, whichever government is in place, when they do fortunate, I kick up. I kick up against Owen Arthur. I kick up against Sandy Ford. David Thompson didn't live long enough for me to kick up against him. And the only two prime ministers I didn't really kick up against was David Thompson and Bree St. John for obvious reasons. So when people hear me criticizing the things that government does, they label me, but if I'm criticizing the bees, the same of them, and vice versa. So I was making my usual brass tacks and things, whatever, criticizing the things that the government had done. So people took it for granted that I was supporting the Barbados Labour Party. A couple of days after the election, Ben Mayor took over the first election 2018. I walked to my office. My office was on White Park Road at the time. And as I stepped out of my office, who was driving down the car but called me Sean. And he came over to me. He stopped and he came over to me. We were talking. And he was all elated to help me help on the government and stuff. And because no, he thinks that I was supporting me. Anything was far from the truth, but he wasn't. It's just that the Dems were doing such a poor job that they give me a lot of stuff to talk about. But he misinterpreted that. So after we talked from one thing to the next, I said to him, but what about the Hyatt? And he responded to me, but I was never really against the Hyatt. You know, I just wanted to make sure these guys don't get up on the investment. He told me that outside of my office. Right? I said it and he said it. He's been cursing me on Facebook when he got a chance for me to say so. That is treachery to this country. He said to me outside of my office on White Park Road, he was never really opposed to the Hyatt. All he was doing is trying to stop them fellas from getting hands money, getting any investment. So he tried to make sure that Barbados did not do well, to keep it in a state of poverty because they didn't let the Dems get hands on the money so as to create jobs in Barbados for people. And he told me that. But he didn't know that he had telling somebody that hated him immediately after because he thought I was a B and supporting his party so he could tell me things like that. But I've told everybody everything. I talked about it in Senate. I talked wherever he went. I talked about it because I could not. But no, he scares me, so I don't mind. He is just in a select group that cursed me, and I track them and all listen to them. He said that to me, that he was never opposed to this Hyatt. He just wanted to make sure that if I didn't get their hands on the investment. So he stopped Randall and David and St. Clair from getting investment in Barbados to provide jobs because he wanted to make sure that there were no jobs in Barbados, that the people were suffering and they would vote out the Democratic Labour Party government. That is what he told me. And he was rewarded by a job as CARICOM ambassador. I don't know what CARICOM ambassador does, but gets paid for it. Can we tell you?
Whoa.
So
he really probably was the one who gave them the instruction as to how to change the legislation that they could now legally step around the law, which would have mandated the government to use or to have to do the environmental impact assessment.
No, I wouldn't attribute that to him. He has a break.
Okay.
Whoa.
But if it's a break, he didn't come and confess that guy to me. Can we tell you? He has a break. Somebody might have done it. Not him. I could almost swear for him. He ain't brave enough to do that. He's one of those lawyers that really make it. That's where you gotta be in politics all your life to see if you can get in there and get jobs because you ain't making it in this profession. I'm making it in money. I'm a trade unionist. And that's why you have to resort to pick up bottles. You see? We have to beware of people like him. They have no loyalty to anybody or anything, to this country or to any party. Because you remember he was a B, he was a NDP, he was a Dem, he was all over the place. He has no loyalty to anything. His loyalty is to himself. And the Prime Minister loves those people who she can maneuver because, they ain't got no base, they don't got a foundation. She know that she can throw a little money at them and they keep running. That little cartoon, I remember the time with the fella, but they're barking at the Prime Minister, and then the Prime Minister throw the bone and he turned back and crowd. Well, he got, that is the people we have around us. And the thing is, the media are rushing to them for quotes. These are discredited people. But they rush to them for quotes. Then they rush to Winston, then rush to me, then rush to Marcia, because they can't buy us. We are not for sale. As I said to you, and I keep telling you again, I am not doing this for any benefits. I will not get any benefits. I am too old for those changes to affect me. I might look nice and young, but I am not.
Anyway, fellas, my battery is out, so I gotta sign off now. But it was good. It was good chatting with you. I appreciate it. I just want to thank you for having me on the show. Marcia, just special thank you to you. Special thank you to the audience for having me. I'll be there tomorrow supporting the march for sure. And I just want to say how proud I am to be here, to be a part of it. And I want to see more than the
Bring
voting
some people
population who
with you,
voted
Kemar.
last time out on the street. Because this is a minority government. People need to know how low the voter turnout was last time, and people need to remember the draconian way they went about stopping people from voting under the guise of COVID. Because COVID was one of the most undemocratic times, most draconian dictatorship type abuses of privileges, honors, and freedoms that this country has ever seen. I don't want people to forget that. I want people to remember everything they did to us to try to force us. I mean, they told so many lies. We lost so many family members. I mean, in the midst of COVID, they even, as I said, they tried to rob us off of vaccines. So it shows they really have no conscience for the people, and that money is their god, and that they would want to remove the real god from the schools to teach transgenderism and the like in schools. So I mean, like I said, I gotta go now, but it was great to be here. So thank you, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, it was good having you.
Yeah, always inspiring.
Bring
Thank you.
some people out with you, Kemar.
Yeah, pardon?
Yeah.
Bring some people with you.
Yeah, for sure.
He
Some
always
more.
does. He always does.
Yeah, I always bring a couple of friends.
Yeah. All right.
All right, wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I am glad to hear that these things are coming out. No, I am not a fan of Commission. I'm not a fan of him. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a traitor. All right.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, all right. As far as I'm concerned, to the cause. He was up about the campus trains and all about the Hayat and everything, and we hear no more word from him as soon as he's got this job position. And there are a lot of things that I noticed that are not sincere about him. So what you just told me, dear Caswell, boy, that jumped me too, right? That jumped me because I didn't know about that all along. You have some very good conversations, so they know about that. But I know there's a lot that you can reveal relative to a lot that goes on in Barbados, and people here will stand up on end. I know that for far, right? What I'm saying though, another thing I want to highlight is that in coming out tomorrow, okay, I'm not sure if the Senate did. They spoke about the bill, right, Caswell? What exactly transpired on Wednesday when they spoke about the bill?
I am not certain because it was still being debated when we were on the show. So I didn't follow through, and then I had the problems with the polyclinics.
Right,
So
I remember that.
I was out of it. And I now have to catch up on my reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know exactly what they did, but trust me, Parliament can do anything but make a man a woman and a woman a man.
Mm-hmm.
So if Parliament passes a piece of legislation, Parliament can repeal it.
That is
This
correct.
one, this one is supposed to be come into force by proclamation, meaning that the governor general has to sign an order to say that it comes into force from a particular day.
Mm-hmm.
So it has we can make sure that they don't send that proclamation to be signed. And that is not unprecedented because the most recent one that I can think of, there might be others, but the one that bothers me most of all is the Integrity and Public Life Bill, because Frandl Stuart, everybody said a lot of things about Frandl, right? He don't used to talk, he used to talk, but he used to work. And a lot of people don't realize that, these other ones don't talk enough and don't do the work. Frandl was the only prime minister in the history of Barbados to put an integrity and public life act on the books. The only one. As much as he wasn't doing anything, he did that. I didn't particularly like it myself. It had some things I didn't like. And the Dems put it on. Whether you like it or not, they put on one. It was supposed to come into force by proclamation, and it was never proclaimed. But when I think it was done in 2017, so when the Barbados Party come to office in 2018, they said that they will not proclaim that bill because they can do better and they can have one done in 100 days. The 100 days didn't come yet as far as they're concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep saying, and I've said it more than once, that mind you, the president said I attribute improper motives to people in the house. I never intended to do anything like that. I said what happens with politicians is that politicians don't like integrity and public life bill or anything like that because they're gonna get rich first. And they might get rich yet. So don't mind these politicians, like mind their actions. They were saying that they will make sure that the ministers declare their assets. And remember when they had all this last song and dance with Minister Moshi declare her assets and have ministers declare assets, that kind of thing. There was no provision in law for it, but they said they're going to do it. And they're going to put it into law that the ministers are going to do all these things. And then when the law came about, they put it on not only the ministers, they put it on the senior civil servants too. The senior civil servants that were already regulated by the Public Service Act. If I tell you something, you will not believe it. But a civil servant can lose his job for telling a lie to a member of the public. The Civil Service Act is more draconian than anything they got except for the financial penalties and the prison sentences, more draconian than anything else that you have in the Integrity of Public Life Bill. So they got these two pieces of legislation now regulating the civil servants, Public Service Act and the Integrity and Public Life Act when that comes into force. But they want one for themselves. And what they want to do for themselves is to say that you will create a blind trust. You can put your assets in a blind trust. So you don't have to declare them. You put them in a blind trust, nobody will know. So you could be a multi-billionaire crook and you have your assets out there, you put them in a blind trust, and you come into government. No, it was supposed for them to declare their assets. That was all about. It was to keep a handle on thieving politicians. But no, the politicians want pulling everybody with them. Even though other people were regulated already. They were not regulated. They had no regulations against them. They had no regulations to govern their behavior. Only the integrity of the prime minister was what was there to keep politicians in check. And we know how that went. But now they want to put laws in place. And Prime Minister promised that she can have something in place for the MPs. But I think MPs no more. So even that we can march both.
Okay.
But I ain't ready for that yet. Let me march. Don't let me dilute the march. Let me march because they carry our money and they want me to pay it back. And that you will not get a pension now under these new pension arrangements. When you work in public service, your pension will be cancelled out by the national insurance pension if you work for $5,120 or less.
Okay.
So you know how many people don't work for that kind of money? So if you don't work for that kind of money, you will not get a pension from the government, but you can pay for it. The IMF insists that they do these things to us, and we do it. It don't make no sense. Why will they contribute to a pension plan and then not get the benefit from our pension plan in the end? When they most need it. But this is what the government put on the books. To fool you that they're doing something for you. They passed that day the other day, and people thumped the table when it passed and stuff, not knowing that there was some bit of foolishness. Because the scenarios that they tell people in their speeches ain't true. They do not tell the truth in the house. They tell you what they think would pacify you. They never told you that the actuaries had told them that it is the write-off of national insurance, $1.3 billion that caused these problems. They said that we ain't getting enough children and all kind of stuff. That they didn't tell the truth on that score. They're trying to make it look like that we ain't doing our job and replenishing the population. But they want me to be gays and lesbians, so we can replenish the population and then no money. You know? So have no confidence in them. They deceive you from the beginning. And if they deceive you from the beginning, they can deceive you, they will deceive you going forward. Let them know that Barbadians are not idiots. That Barbadians are thinking people, but just that we don't do a lot of fasting up. But let me start fasting up now because this is one that I got fasting about. Because let me tell you something. Anybody will get terrible ramming. And if you don't stand up, that's what you will have. That's all you will have for lunch and dinner. Because that is what that will reduce you to. Trust me on it. So when you see these little ramming things and people blowing up all over the state, people want to know how people getting fat is the ramming. Because this is what the government of Barbados decides that they can do to you. I am very serious. These people don't care, you know. That's the truth, they don't care. And all they want to do is tax you and take your money. They said they put a sweet drink tax, a tax on sugar for people's sweet drinks. And you know, on the street drinks, the prices, because they don't understand the market, they don't understand the people, the sales went down the way. But worse yet, if you were trying to stop people from having unhealthy foods, why would you then take Chevette and carry New York and big up Chevette? They have more unhealthy food. They got more unhealthy food in there than the sweet drink bottle. Because they got sweet drinks in there too. You know? But no, that was not to and if they can tax the unhealthy foods, the Chevette should have been taxed. These fast food places should have been taxed. No, but this is a money grab. This is for people to get money on those soft drinks, you know, because they were selling good. So they don't believe none to tell you that is only the cover story to make it sound good. It was just to get their hands on money. And when they can't find them more money, they're going for national insurance money. But that they're going too far. They have gone too far. They're robbing the poor now. They're robbing the poorest of the poor. They're robbing pensioners. This is reverse Robin Hood. They're robbing the poor and giving to the rich. Because all the professors could there. If I wanted to advertise in New York, they're going to have money. They're going to have money to advertise themselves, no? You can get a delegation for BTMI. Barbados to present marketing with a link and at the top. Mind you, gone now. But that is the level of thinking and responsibilities that this country is seeing. They don't make sense. Nothing that they have done so far has made any sense. It made sense for them because they are fighting the NIS all the time as we speak. They're fighting the NIS. And you can't find one single fellow in your university you learn about NIS is fixed. You know what the fellows in your NIS? And what little cushion you might be able to put in there, they can't one carry there. Lord, for heaven's sake, people come out and let these people know that they can't do this to you. They're hurting you. They're hitting you where it hurts worse. You know? They're like hitting a young, virile man where it hurts most. That's what they're doing to you. Hitting you in the nuts. It isn't fair. Tell them so. Let them see that we are saying to them it isn't fair. Let them see that we are not pleased by these things. All right?
All right.
I think if I could plead anymore, I would. But I want to save a little bit. Let's voice for the more.
Okay.
And I need to get some rest, and I have been up going since morning. When 8:30 I was in St. Philip.
I was around too. I know it is. I'm asking everybody to come out early. You were supposed to start at 10, but if you could get there early, we would be extremely grateful if everybody could get there early. And as we keep saying, the police will be there. We have police there to accompany us, and you know what I mean, and stick within. We have to stick within the guidelines, but come out in your numbers. Bring a friend, bring a family member, bring your dog and all. Come out, bring them, because this will affect everybody. This will affect every single living person in Barbados. Okay, those who are older, yes, and like Caswell said, they will not be affected. But Caswell, look at what Caswell is doing. He's coming out. He's walking for you, for each of us. You understand? Who will be affected? He's not getting any financial gain from this. You understand? He's not getting anything from this. Okay, but there are people who, when they see injustice, will speak up about it. Okay, Lamumba is one of those people. Bongo Lights, those people. Marcel Weeks. Okay, these people consistently are talking about the wrongs that are being done and are educating people as to their rights and what should really be done. All right, please let our work not be in vain. Please come out, assist us, please. Is there anything you want to say, Lamamba?
Yeah, but I'm just going right on what you're saying, and I would like everyone to come out. It's not about politics, so don't make it political. It's about our freedom. It's about our liberation. It's about all people coming together and saying, "Listen, enough is enough." Yeah, it's not what I mean. That well, as I said, I'm not. This is the first time I even hear about this pension bill because I was never interested in anything like that. But what I begin to see is that there's a connection to everything. So, it's not just the pension bill. It is, the pension bill is linked to the vaccines. It's linked to everything else that they're trying to do. The IDs, everything else. So we need to come on out. We need to come on out, people. As the brother said, whether you old, young, in a wheelchair, whatever, come on out and show these people. Quite a few people today was reasoning with me, and they was telling me, well, I was telling them about the march, and they were saying, well, there's no what we get out of marching. We don't get nothing out of marching. So people gonna continue to do what they want to do, whether we march or if we don't march. So I was explaining to them, I was trying to explain to them, if you look at the world news, and that's what I do, I look at the world news and you see protests going on all over the planet. So if it wasn't working, and it is working, it is causing these people. So it is going on in France, it's going on all over Europe, it's going on all over. The only place that you don't see that kind of activism is in the Caribbean, not only in Barbados, but in the Caribbean. And the Caribbean is supposed to be the most vocal of all. You see what I mean? So we need to come on out, people. Come on out. Come out in numbers, man. And numbers do make a difference. No government likes exposure. None.
Especially this one, for sure.
And especially this one. That's right. So we need to come on out, people. I'll be there. I'm gonna bring some people with me, and everybody just bring somebody with you.
And somebody was speaking about the Barbadian whites. Okay, we have a support group of those with us, not only Barbadian but those who are resident here, who will be there tomorrow. Okay, so there you'll see them around me. All right, we have and they'll be all throughout. So yeah, it's not about religion, it's not about politics, it's not about ethnicity, it's about your rights. All right, so let's all come out. Marcia, are you available? There she is. All right, are you still here?
I'm here, but as you can see, having a trouble technically. But you can still hear me. I can hear the echo, but you guys, I was just enjoying the show. I love this. I love working behind the scenes. So I'm looking forward to see everybody tomorrow. We're going up there. Don't forget all, they had the march on Montgomery. Remember that? Right? They had all the march on Selma, and all the protests in Montgomery. All of them, we're living off of those things that our ancestors did. And now to believe that we will have no power, we don't have any power. If we march, they won't listen to us. That's a lie. That's laziness too. There's a lot of us are lazy. We got to fight for what it is that we want. So tomorrow, guys, come on out. We're going to be up there. And as we tell you, if it's the four of us alone in front of the truck, behind the truck, we're going. Just know that, right? So we're going to be there tomorrow. God bless you all. And thank you, Winston. Thank you, Mr. Caswell Franklin. Thank you, Lumumba. And thanks, Kemar, who came on tonight. So we see everybody tomorrow. God bless you all. We're going to bed early tonight, man. So we can get up really fresh. Come early. Come out early. And we want to make sure you help us to keep the peace. help us to keep the peace tomorrow. Make sure the police, they are our friends, okay? So don't try to be, just make sure
everything is going to be good. Everything is going to be good. We will have a great day. We will. Speak it into being. Speak it into being. Blessed. Rastafari.
All right, you guys. Caswell, get some rest.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye, guys. Love you.
All right.
Love you.
Bye-bye.